In a small Michigan town, James Carter owns an auto repair shop that is struggling to survive. On a cold Thanksgiving night, when most people are celebrating with their families, James decides to help a family whose car is broken down. He gives up his own holiday plans to fix their vehicle. This simple act of kindness makes a difference in his life in ways he never imagined. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Story to Heal. Today, I am excited to share a new story with you. James Carter wipes the sweat from his brow as he looks over the financials of his small business. The numbers are not good. The bills are piling up, and customers are becoming scarce in his small Michigan town. The cold November wind rattles the windows of the store as he sits alone in his office. His cell phone rings. It is his sister Marie. "Are you coming over for Thanksgiving dinner tomorrow?" "The kids are dying to see Uncle James," Marie says. James smiles, thinking of his nephews. "Sure, I'll be there at 5, she answers. The next morning, James spends the morning repairing several cars. The holiday season is tough. Many people are out of town visiting family, and business is slower than usual. He can barely afford to pay his 2 employees. At 4:30 p.m., James locked up his shop. He put on his old jacket and walked to his truck. The temperature had dropped below freezing and snow was falling. His cell phone rang. It was an unknown number. "Hello, is this C's Auto Repair?" A woman's voice sounded concerned. "Our car broke down on Highway 23. We've called every repair shop in the area, but no one's answering because it's Thanksgiving. We have 2 small children." James checked his watch. His sister was waiting for him, and his family would be disappointed. But something in the woman's voice made him decide. "Where are you?" "I'm here to help," she said. "Thank you so much. We're near mile marker 45. Our car just stopped. We're on our way to Chicago to visit my mother in the hospital," the woman explained, her voice shaking from the cold. James called his sister Marie. "Excuse me, there's a family stuck on the highway. They have their children with them. I need to help them." Marie understood. That was James, always putting others first. He drove through the worsening blizzard. After 20 minutes, he saw a black SUV on the side of the road. A man was standing outside waving a flashlight. A woman sat in the car with 2 small children, trying to keep them warm. The man introduced himself as David. "We are so thankful that you came on Thanksgiving. Every other place is closed." "We don't know what to do," David said with relief in his voice. James got right to work. The temperature was dropping, and he wanted to get the family on their way. Little did he know that this Thanksgiving sacrifice would lead to something extraordinary. James popped the hood of the SUV and checked the engine. Although it was an expensive model, there was a serious problem with the fuel injection system. It would take at least 3 hours to fix. The snow was getting heavier and the wind was getting stronger. "Your car needs major repairs. It's not safe to drive," James told David. "The nearest open shop is 2 hours away in Chicago. I can fix it here, but it will take a while." The 2 children in the back seat were wrapped in blankets and looked frightened. The woman who introduced herself as Sarah spoke quietly. "We have to go to Chicago tonight. My mother had a heart attack. The doctor said." Her voice trailed off with emotion. David took her hand and is to comfort her. James thought for a moment. "My shop is only 10 minutes away. I can tow your car there and fix it up properly. It's warmer, and there's a small waiting room for your family." The couple agreed, grateful for the help. Inside the shop, James worked quickly under the bright lights. He watched as David made a few phone calls in a low voice. Sarah helped her children with coloring books she had found in her bag. The books looked expensive, like everything else they owned. Hours passed. James' hands were cold and sore, but he continued to work. He saw how worried Sarah was about her mother. He remembered his own mother, lost 2 years ago. He understood her eagerness to get to Chicago as soon as possible. By 9 p.m., the repairs were finally complete. James had replaced several parts, working as fast as he could. When David asked for the bill, James hesitated. The parts alone cost over $800. For a family in a hurry to visit a sick mother on Thanksgiving, it seemed wrong to charge the full amount. Just pay for the parts. No work today, James said. David tried to argue, but James refused. Consider it a Thanksgiving gift. Make sure your family gets to Chicago safely. Sarah cried as she hugged James. As they got ready to leave, David handed her his business card. Thank you. You gave up your holiday to help a stranger. People like you are hard to find, David said. James put the card in his pocket without looking at it. He was just happy to help. The family continued their journey into the snowy night. James closed his shop, tired but happy. He never thought the business card would change everything so quickly. The next morning, James arrived early at his shop. He found the business card David had given him and finally read it. His eyes widened. David Thompson, CEO of Thompson Automotive Industries, the largest auto parts manufacturer in the Midwest. James could hardly believe it. He had helped the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company, but he didn't regret his decision to just charge for the parts. He had done what he thought was right, no matter who they were. A week passed. James focused on his work and struggled to keep the shop afloat. He had to let one of his employees go. The bills were too much. The bank was threatening to foreclose on his business. On a cold December morning, a sleek black limousine pulled up to the small shop. A man named David Thompson stepped out gracefully. He was wearing an expensive suit, clearly from a famous designer, probably worth more than James' monthly income. He greeted him with a faint but authoritative smile. "Good morning, James. Do you have a moment to talk?" he asked in a firm but polite tone. After James nodded, the two of them entered a small office in the corner of the shop. As soon as they sat down, David spoke in a serious but friendly tone. "After you helped us that night, we finally made it to Chicago in time. Sarah's mother is now recovering, and we are very grateful. But to be honest, that is not the main reason I came here today. I want to say that I was really impressed by your kindness that night." David continued in a serious but confident tone. "I have done extensive research on your store. Your name is known far and wide for your invaluable reputation for honest work and fair prices. People trust you very much, and that kind of trust is an asset that is not easy to come by. That is why I have come here." James listened intently, but his mind was filled with questions, trying to guess where this conversation was going. David went on to explain, "I am in the process of expanding Thompson Automotive. Our plan is to open a network of authorized service centers in cities across the country. And after much consideration, I would like your shop to be the first location for this major expansion." David smiled for a moment before adding, "We will provide full funding for all of your shop renovations, new modern equipment, and also training for your staff to meet the new standards. You will still be the owner of the shop, but with our full support every step of the way. Any financial constraints you may have faced will no longer be a problem. So what do you think of this offer?" David extended the contract. The terms were incredible. Complete autonomy, a guaranteed supply of spare parts, and a partnership that would solve all his financial problems. James remembered all the times he had helped others, as he had done for David's family. Now the same kindness was being returned to him in ways he had never imagined. With trembling hands, James signed the contract. Within weeks, his small garage had become a modern, bustling automotive service center. Customers came from all over the city, attracted by the shop's new reputation, and James was now an official partner of David's big company. Like this story? Click like and subscribe for more stories, and share your thoughts with a single word in the comment section.